This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Islamic culture and French due to its colonial history. But let's go to the proverb. A man or woman without culture is like a zebra without stripes. A man or woman without culture is like a zebra without stripes. How would you interpret that?
Oh, well, that's a good one, Dennis. I think that when it comes to, how would I put it? When it comes to how to define or how to live personal values and, how basically people behave, behavioral structures of people are very different, but you have to have a defined way of being yourself, putting yourself out there and having an identity. Otherwise, if you don't have the moral structure as a man or a woman, then you don't have the identity, how you identify yourself, basically on culture and behavior. I think that is how I would interpret it.
Yeah, pretty much, because culture is what finds us, and absence of it, then who are you? Will you talk happy?
They say, who are you? What are you?
Who the hell do you think you are?
Okay. It is only you who would have finished that part, but okay. He set you up and you fell right into it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, DG, for being here and, for honoring the invitation to have this discussion about an issue that's a social one, but that also bears impact on the future of many different lives.
Sure.
Meru County is on the list and maybe with some of the highest numbers of teenage pregnancies that we are seeing. Of course, we know teenagers between the age of 13 and 19 are either being delivered of babies or are pregnant at the moment. And the numbers are high. And yesterday we saw also that Isiolo, which borders Meru, also is very high with these numbers, and the county government's also getting involved in this and starting to ask questions, number one, but then trying to seek answers and solutions. Just a little bit of physiology. Of course, we know that a child between the 13, 14, 15 is still a child for all intents and purposes. So the question that we are asking, first of all, even as we get into this discussion, what's happening? What's going on?
Oh, well, it's a concern that is, of course, also raising eyebrows, not only to the people of the county, but also to the administration. It is something that I cannot deny is there. The numbers are a bit high. But looking at the trajectory from the statistics that we have from the year 2020, the statistic that I have this morning up to December of 2023, we are on a reducing those numbers. The numbers have been going down. And I do agree. Actually, it's not even between the teen ages from 13. It starts from 10 years. 10, yes. We have categorized the same at 10 years to 14 years, and then also from 15 years to 19 years. But looking at our statistics, I am not worried being a leader that the numbers are not increasing. The curve is going down because as at the year 2020, the numbers of children who had pregnancies at between 10 to 14 years was at 617. That was in December of 2023. And then December of 2024, that was last year, then the same was at 277, which means we have gone down with a number of children. Although it is not a good thing that we are even discussing children at the age of 10 to 14. It is absurd. It's something that we cannot allow, even based on culture. we have to drop some of those cultural practices that encourage young children in getting into those things. But also looking at the age of 15 to 19 years, at the same year, 2023, we were about 8,893. But last year, the statistics are at 4,083, which means the total of that is 4,360 vis-a-vis 2023, the previous year, which was about double that. So the trajectory is going down. But as a county government and as a mother, I'm really worried. Why would we even be having children with children? It does not make sense. Children should be in school. But as a county government, of course, we are also taking steps to ensure that we keep reducing those numbers until we get to zero. That is a minimum.
Are we looking at the ecosystem around which these girls are getting pregnant? And that to look at their family situation, to look at the demography around what's happening here. Are they children who are living in family units? Are they sponsored children? Are they within nuclear units? What are the details surrounding these girls, if that has been done?
Social backgrounds, poor backgrounds, social-cultural issues, also broken families, incest within the broken families, of course, where a father is left with the children and takes advantage of the young children. And then also educational background, whereby you find that parents do not take seriously educational background of their children and ensure that these children have gone to school, even though the local administration always also does a follow-up to ensure that our children are in school. But you find that sometimes when children come from a poor background, they have trouble even in school. A child has gone to school, they haven't eaten maybe a night or so. That disrupts their education, and maybe they go to the neighbors borrowing food. That's how they get taken advantage of. In addition to that, also cultural backgrounds. We have issues mostly in Igembe, where we find that we have big farms of miraa, and the children do not want to go to school, probably because they know that they have a farm of miraa and they have money. So, and also being given that responsibility to take care of the farms, not only in miraa farms, but also other farms. I think as parents, we also need to be a bit more keen and encourage our children to participate in educational activities, not just in the social activities, which of course we encourage parents to teach their children how to, do common issues, common chores at home. But then when you don't encourage that discipline and instill the discipline in children, then you find that, the young men have refused to go to school because they have a farm. They can get money. So for them, they don't get the value of social backgrounds coming from school, how to integrate them in the society.
I have a friend, actually, who told me this, and is a parent, and he told me, and I mean it, I'm glad that you mentioned, because I wanted to ask about the miraa farms. And it was almost like a joke, like at 3 p.m, I don't know whether it's still happening, you'll find most of the butcheries are closed. A lot of the shops are closed. This is some time back. Reason being, gari imepeleka miraa Nairobi, ishafunga kazi, pesa imeingia, nyama zote zimeisha kwa butchery. So he even owned a butchery himself.
Yes.
But by Satisa, nyama imeisha kwa butchery.
Yes.
But then raising kids, he said, the environment is not very conducive to raise kids going to school.
Yes.
So he actually had to relocate, left the farm there, came to Nairobi, where now he was raising the kids. So as we're talking about root causes, beyond the other, and we'll go to the other causes, for example, we talked about poverty and culture also. How serious is this issue in terms of just the environment, schooling, where then kids are being raised around these farms, and they can see there's a lot of money coming in through the sale of miraa?
Well, we have to go back to the barazas, We have to go back to the social gatherings. We have to go back to the church and ensure that we are instilling values, not only to the children, but also to the parents. Because as a parent, if I give the responsibility to my son or daughter to run a farm while they're supposed to be in school, you're opening a can of worms. You're opening a Pandora's box. You're opening them to a world where they're not supposed to be exposed at that particular time. The most important thing for a child who is going to school is to show them that you need to find your own. You cannot rely on my farm. Go work, go to school, get educated. If you want to do with mirror farming or any other farming for that reason, then you have to raise your own money through education. But if we keep cultivating that culture of showing the kids that you don't have to struggle so much, there's a farm here which you can engage in, then that becomes a problem. So much so that when the money comes in, everyone in the family gets something small because you are going to school, but you have money. I was in school with students who had even matatus from their proceeds from the farms. So they lived off a better life. Oh yes, university. At university. So you see, and they used to tell us that we are given these farms at a very young age. Mirai is one of the crops that we as a county government are very intentional on creating even value addition. And it is one of the best economic uplifters of our county. And it is not something that we are going to tell our people, do not plant miraa. But for the purposes of our children, we have to do the right thing.
I mean, as we talk about doing the right thing, so now we're talking about a cash crop that comes from the region and is squarely yours.
Yes.
But there is a societal problem that needs to be addressed as a society and find solutions towards that. But how then do you sit down with those who believe, those who trust that at the end of the day, at school there are no jobs, first of all? How do you have this conversation with the society such that everyone is on board? Because fine, we will have all this data and reports. We will say everything we need, but until we go on ground and have these conversations, nothing will really move. So are we doing that? And if so, what's the progress? How does it look?
But also, even as I go into answering that, it's not just about miraa. I gave an example of Igembe, what is affecting the society in that area, because we also have issues in Bore. Bore is on the other side where we have flower farms. The Nanyuki, after you come from Nanyuki, that area we have flower farms. We also have Imenti North, where I come from, totally urban, but we still have issues of teenage pregnancy, which of course we attribute that to being in a very open society where people living in town, of course, are very near so many social places, and these social places is where these children obviously get trapped into. And also other areas in the county where there is basically nothing much ongoing, but the numbers of teenage pregnancies is also very high. So the issue here is the society that has changed, is the culture that has changed. We are failing as parents especially to instill a discipline and ensure that our children are in the right places at the right time. So that is all we need to do. And how I look at it, of course, for the children that are already affected, you can only encourage them that after they give birth, they need to go back to school and continue learning. But as they go back to school, you see, and if you don't do for them counseling and educate them on the vices in the community and also tell them how to avoid some of these things, then we are also not doing them any favor. So we have to come up as an entire society, the administrative part, the county government, the churches, the barazas, the communities. we have to create a whole synergy to ensure that we are doing conferences for our children to teach them and give them guidance and counseling. How we used to do a long time ago. I grew up doing, attending meetings on guidance and counseling through the churches on Sunday afternoons. But what do our children do nowadays on Sunday afternoons?
Well,
the parents that even have no idea where their children are.
Okay, so this is, it's obviously there are layered issues here, the reasons as to why this is happening.
Absolutely.
The end result is that we see, even though we may see a reduction, 4,000 girls in a year getting pregnant at that age is a lot.
It is.
And the question as to why this happens, obviously there are many here. And we know that we've seen things like this amongst girls that we have meetings with and things, is that some of it is economic. There's somebody who's going to promise you as little as 20 shillings. 20 shillings. To have a sexual encounter with them, and the end result is a pregnancy for 20 shillings. It's a bag of chips.
Absolutely.
Fries that cost 100 shillings at the most. But it's the world to this girl at that moment. It's also a bill to be paid for something.
Yeah.
Right? And again, having a sexual encounter that ends up in a pregnancy. We see that the lowest numbers from this percentage is actually for pleasure, or just because, I was bored kind of thing. Most of these cases, unfortunately, are tied to some of these issues. So then, like you say, the approach should be on the issues that are allowing these situations to then blossom. Whereby, if a girl is in need of 20 shillings to buy a sanitary towel to go to school, and somebody is insisting on a sexual encounter to make that happen, the deeper problem here is empowerment and upliftment of this girl and her family.
Absolutely.
If it's a ride that's needed from point A to point B, and it's very far away for a school-going child, then we need to address that issue.
Absolutely.
So what are we doing to address these issues? Because if we don't, we have 4,000 girls getting pregnant in Meru. We've got another 5,000 or so getting pregnant in Isiolo. Lamu County. I mean, what? It's across board. What are we? Because the pregnancy,
yes,
in this case, is the symptom,
yes,
of a deeper problem.
Absolutely. At our level, at the county government, let me talk about Meru County government. We are partnering with various partners who are helping us in creating even safe houses for these children. You realize that some children are born in families, as I said, poor economic background. Their parents probably brewing even changa, looking at that kind of an environment. And you see, a changa environment or illicit brew environment being at home where it is brewed, it means that this child is exposed to adults who come, they are truly fully inebriated and who cannot be able to reason in their right minds. Parents also exposing their small girls to serve these kind of people, the illicit brew. And what happens next? A few months later, that child gets pregnant. So that economic background is all we are trying to alleviate in our county. Also creating a safe space for such girls who are exposed in that particular kind of environment. And we are partnering. We have a company called Shofco, which is helping us build a safe house in Igembe, where some of these cases are coming in highly. And that's where our biggest concern is. So as a county government, we are looking into putting some of those girls in those kind of safe houses. And we have, at the moment, we have ensured that we put that safe house near where we have the highest number of these pregnancy cases. And number two, like you said, a girl would be wanting to get money to buy sanitary pads. We are also, in fact, we are launching one of the projects this Friday with a partner called BPAN, where we are raising funds to buy sanitary wares and distribute them to the local schools where some of these are being affected. And we want to ensure that it's a continuous process, because most of us do start these projects, but a few months later, it goes away. What happens then? They still go back to borrowing the 100 shillings to get. So we want to ensure it's a continuous program whereby we can be able to give them the pads. And even as we give them the pads in those projects, we do for them proper guidance and counseling in that event to ensure that they also understand some of these vices and how to protect themselves. And of course, you see the issue of teenage pregnancy also comes in with the issues of the law. What does the law say? What happens to the young man or the man who has impregnated any child below the age of 18 years? That brings in the criminal liability, defilement, also sometimes rape, you see, incest, which is also another criminal offense. So it's a multifaceted, a multi-thronged kind of problem that is a society issue that has to be dealt with by the leaders in the society and not just by the county government. There's so much we can do. Ensure probably that we create these safe houses, do economic empowerment for our people. But at the end of the day, we cannot come into people's home to tell them this is how you discipline your child.
Okay, look, DG, it looks like you've talked about society. And if we circle back a bit and try to flesh out this conversation, the home front is where they say the battle begins. And there are fundamental flaws in terms of the home setup and the breakdown at home that then leads this girl to get into very exploitative relationships. And then you have all these other issues that now come as a result of ripple effects. Meru County has been for a very long time also been on the spotlight, and the troubling rates of gender-based violence. And then you couple that with teen pregnancies. I'm looking at statistics from IPAS. January 2024 to May 15, 2025, police actually recorded 336 GBV cases. Tigania East was had the highest number of 60, and these are the only official reported cases. 62 cases Tigania East. Then you have Imenti South 59, Buri East 44, Tigania West, and so on and so forth. When you have then violence at home that pushes out these kids then to get into those kind of spaces, what exactly is happening? Why do we have these very high rates of violence, GBV, in Meru? Then you're breaking down these different sub-counties, and then you're thinking, okay, there's something happening in Tigania East.
Yes.
Wameru huku ni nini wanakula, ni nini wanafanya. Okay. Wameru Aburi ni nini wanakula, ni nini wanafanya. Because, again, this can come off as a joke. This same person was telling me, you know, Dennis, there's that, I can't remember the place. You mentioned there's a town you go, young men, wako either na mkono moja, ama wana mikono.
It's true.
It's very, very real. Reason being, you enter somebody's farm at night, you're stealing miraa. The justice system, how it works there, is they chop off your hand. So it is short sleeve or long sleeve. You get to choose. So then that escalates to all these other things. But back to this troubling numbers.
Yes.
Why do we still also equally have these high numbers of GBV?
I think it is unfortunate to start with, but nothing special about Meru County for sure. And as I said before, then the trajectory is going down, which means people are listening and people are watching and people are doing things differently. And as a county government, we are also looking at it in a very different dimension, whereby we want to make sure that we talk more to the community, and we also do a little bit more of training of our people, the community health workers, even as they go to do their work in the family units, the 100 family units which are under every one CHP. Then even as they do the health part, they also talk to the family on issues of gender-based violence and also on teenage pregnancies. So, and we are also training the working groups that will be able to ensure we are supervising what is being done in the community in terms of going out there and ensuring our local barazas, we are talking there. And we are not talking only about administration, but we are also talking about the things that are affecting us as Meru County on the social and economic issues, mostly on the social issues, and also on the cultural background, because also our culture really brings about all these issues. Remember, long time ago, girls used to be given out there as wives at a very young age. That age bracket of between 10 to 14 and 15
There are
to
families that
to
are still
18.
marrying off their 10-year-old daughters.
No. I'm saying, basing on now the cultural background, the history where we are coming from, that probably has been one of the contributors to seeing some of these things happening. But the most important thing, now that we are here, I think people have gotten a little bit comfortable in themselves, so much so that we are not thinking about what we as parents are communicating and doing for our children. We have left most of the work to the teachers in school, because I remember when I was growing up, I would tell you, my mom was working on a day-to-day basis, but she could tell you exactly where I am. She used to leave me a lot of work. I put githeri on the sufuria, you boil it and make lunch for the rest of the family, make dinner, prepare dinner. By the time you get time maybe to go even and shower, it's like you only have 30 minutes to her coming back home. But what does a parent do nowadays? You just leave the house and you leave your children, and sometimes you hear, oh, the child went for sleepover somewhere, and you just don't care. I think it's all about what we are doing as parents, also as a society, also as a church. We have slacked on the discipline that we used to instill in our children.
So I wanted to talk about contraceptive use and sex education. It is a conversation that has both sides. There are those who are pro and those who are anti. Because you talk about contraceptive use, there are those who say these will help deal with early teen pregnancies, but the other side would say you are encouraging early sex, right?
Yes.
And as we talk about it, there has been conversations around even having these in the curriculum. That is also a conversation that is out there. But we also can't bury our heads in the sand and say that our children at a young age are not having sex. So as a county, with all these sides that do exist, how do we approach it such that we're still having these conversations while at the same time ensuring that our children are safe?
I think that in addition to what we have done, creating safe houses and, coming up with partners who can be able to help us, and also doing a campaign awareness as a county government, we are also ensuring that in addition to all that, we also creating laws and policies at the county government, as a county government policy. We have done the gender mainstreaming policy, which is at the governance stage, where we are expecting that he ascends it into, a full policy and law. We also have the Meru County Children's Policy, which of course comes in to supplement the national laws, and of course parallel to the national laws and integrating the national laws. That is what we are doing at the county government. That is coming to the cabinet the day after tomorrow on Thursday for deliberation, and of course forwarding to the county assembly. Then we also have the Gender-Based Violence Act, which is now being reviewed. It's a 2019 act, but is now being reviewed so that we can integrate the laws, the awareness, creating awareness. We have the Governor's Cup that we will be starting in 2 weeks' time. The Governor's Cup is a football tournament at the Governor's, which has been sponsored by the county government. And what we are doing, apart from playing football, we are going to do awareness to the youths on how to chase on a ball usiweke madem ball.
Okay.
You get that kind of a thing?
Get it.
So we'll be creating awareness where we are encouraging them. In your free time, instead of going into funny activities, why don't you go play sports? And we are here, we are supporting them, we are giving them the sporting equipment, and we are also rewarding them with the games that the teams that are going to win.
But I just wanted to just kind of insist on that question that Dennis has asked in terms of sex education. DG, that in as much as somebody could get somebody pregnant, we'd be surprised that people still don't understand the physiological process of what happens for somebody to get pregnant. Because the truth of them, the boys that you're saying come play football,
Yes.
they're almost probably the same age. They're just a little bit older than the girls that they're getting pregnant. So the sex education, we don't want to talk about it. We want to talk about it in the dark with the curtains closed, and we want to be under the bed, and the lights off. That's when we can even mention the word, right?
Yes.
But look at what's happening, because
Yes.
we don't want to talk about it. We're not
Yes.
comfortable talking about it, but we're suffering.
Yes.
And children's lives
Yes.
are being lost.
Yes.
They don't have a chance to play. They don't have a chance to learn, to be educated in a world whereby they can still be children. Somebody at the age of 11 years old has no business being a parent to anybody.
Absolutely.
So when do we get uncomfortable enough to be comfortable to have these conversations? I love the idea of sports, but then are we having the conversation alongside the activity?
Yes, we are. We are. Actually, that's the cherry on top, that apart from the sports, we will be having side events where we are doing the guidance and counseling, where we are doing the awareness, the sex education, as we are putting it, because we realize that youths mostly, we are going to have a lot of young men in jails. Remember, we shouldn't even be talking about teenage pregnancy. This is criminal offenses. And so if we are having so much as 4,000 girls being impregnated, then it means we should be having as equally 4,000 boys in jail. You understand how the effect of all these is, even as much as people don't want to talk about it, we have to look at it even on the flip side and educate the boys. If you're going to impregnate a girl and then a formal complaint is going to be filed, and it means you also might fall into the trap of being imprisoned for this particular activity, notwithstanding the fact that, people are not talking about it, because all we talk about is the girls have gotten pregnant. But what about their rights? I mean, these girls also have rights. And so, me being a mother of 2 boys, I'm really worried. How is it that sometime to come, a child that you have given birth to has gotten himself into such a situation whereby, and we have seen it, my law background of 13 years, I have done these court cases, defilement and rape, defilement especially, because these are issues that have been in the society. They are not arising now, but we keep blaming the girls. Why do we do that? We are not talking about the other side, because a girl will not get herself pregnant.
Unless she's Mary Immaculate, but okay.
I think one way of looking at it would be, if you look at, so let's go back to the culture, especially during the boy-child initiation process and rights. This is when boys have an opportunity to be with their fathers, to have these discussions. And perhaps that would be one way of getting inside and having this sex education and conversations with the boy at a point when they are considered to be men. So in terms of looking at the culture that is that we have, perhaps that's a way to look at it. Perhaps that's a way to push the men as well to be involved, because in such conversations, again, you find mtoto ni wa mama yake.
Yes.
But when will men as well take responsibility and be part of the conversation? Are we pushing that?
Yes. Absolutely. That is one of the things that we need to be doing, because, as I said, even as we do awareness, there are different forums that we can do this awareness. Like nowadays, the beauty is that nowadays initiation ceremonies, they are done as a community. In fact, nowadays they are doing them in camps, circumcision camps. At least that's what we are doing. You have these young boys in one community camp in the churches and other areas where they do them, a full week or 2 weeks. So within that time, we should be able to take that opportunity to create that sex education and, of course, awareness on what happens when you find yourself in such a situation and how, of course, to avoid that situation. And in addition, of course, to that, the question that comes to my mind at this time is that the way the law is, when it comes to issues of children in conflict with the law, because any child that impregnates another child, that means anyone under the age of 18 who impregnates another child below the age of 18, it means these are children who needs the protection of the law. And then having the children's court, unfortunately, there's no children's court in Meru. So the process, they are taken like any other, court process. But at least I think a week ago, the CJ was categorical that she was going to have build a children's court in Meru, or designate one of the magistrates in Meru to handle the children's court. The upshot of this is that, of course, instead of, once you create awareness and you definitely know the upside of that is that also parents are going to come out saying that my child has been impregnated and this is a criminal offense. So what do? I have to go and report this to the police. And what happens thereafter? My child, who is a boy, is also going to get arrested, which means now this is going to be a criminal case. So the upshot of that is that are we also prepared? And are we preparing our children, and especially the boys, to understand the procedures in law when you find yourself in such a situation? Which means once we start do this kind of awareness, it will be like a bar and a deterrent to them that if I do this thing, then I'm going to find myself in trouble, because most of them are not aware.
So when you're looking at those numbers then, my question is, how many of these teen pregnancies are from teens, like a child and a child?
Yes.
And how many are, this is an adult taking advantage of a child? Are those figures also clear?
Oh, we don't have those figures. Reason being that, you see, some of these issues are taken care of in kangaroo courts back in the villages. Hii maneno inaisha hapa. But then the question that I keep asking myself from a legal perspective, and of course as a leader in the society, but what happens to a girl that was taken advantage of and she didn't know what to do? And maybe the parents also equally did not know what to do. And now we are putting it out there. This is what is supposed to happen. The ripple effect of that is that we are going to have a situation whereby we are going to have more court cases. As these numbers either increase or decrease, there is going to be a ripple effect. So even as we tell them about creating awareness and, of course, going into the barazas, we also have to do a legal aid clinic to them to know that if you impregnate a girl who is below the age of 18, then there is also criminal culpability of defilement, maybe even of rape and all those kind of things.
Do you have a county policy on reintegration of these girls? So a girl is pregnant, nothing much you can do about it. The girl has to continue with education, has to, deliver this child. But in terms of then reintegration to school and back to the society, with all the stigma that surrounds this, how is the county then handling this at a policy level?
At a policy level, and of course also relying on the national government policies, that when a child gets pregnant, they have to go back to school. And there's no school that would refuse, because the law is there, would refuse such a girl to go back to school. But then, preparing the girl in going back to school, they would be subjected to ridicule by the other students, and they'll also be affected psychologically, maybe because they have already missed almost a year making sure that the small baby has been taken care of. We are working with partners, for example, Repos International in Meru, whereby they have a safe house where when we get some of these children, we take them there so that they can be given that kind of counseling and preparing them into being integrated back into the society. So in addition to the policies that we are creating, remember I've mentioned about the Meru County Children Policy, the gender mainstreaming policy, and the gender-based violence policies, which we are reviewing to make sure that they are in tandem with society as at now and the occurrences that are ongoing as at now. So we are doing that, and we are ensuring that we are also addressing and preventing reoccurrence of this kind of teenage pregnancies. And that's why you see the trajectory is going down. But it can't just go down at once. But we are doing whatever we can as a county government to ensure that we cap that.
Okay, so you say there's no children caught in Meru. There's
Just
a
a normal
conversation
court.
about setting up one. Then how accessible are reproductive health facilities for these girls?
Absolutely.
The bit about counseling.
Yes.
Dennis was asking about, the education itself. There's the issue of contraceptives.
Yes.
Especially in those very deep rural areas.
Yes.
How is it?
Our health system is formulated in such a way that even at the village level, there is a county government dispensary where we call it the level 1, the level 2 hospitals, which are the dispensaries, the level 3 hospitals, which are the healthcare centers, and the level 4, which are the sub-county hospitals, before you get to the level 5, which is now the Merit Teaching and Referral Hospitals. In every village, almost within a certain radius, you find that health services are accessible. And as a county government, we have set apart about almost 300 million Kenya shillings in this particular financial year to ensure that we have capacitated all our health centers and at all levels to make sure that some of these things are available. For example, if a child has been exposed or raped or defiled, at the dispensary, the first touch with the medical officer, at least they are going to get a post-exposure prophylaxis.
Okay.
Remember, this is all also connected very much with the HIV.
Yep.
So at that level, we're ensuring that that is there. And also, at the level of the healthcare center, that is where we have the mother-to-child ANC, the antenatal clinic, whereby we're ensuring that even as they go there, they are able to get all the services that they can. And also with the new national government project on SHIF, any delivery, any health, health issues in terms of teenage children is free. It's catered for by the government. So we are ensuring that at that village and at that healthcare center level, these children are able to access the advice from our health care centers, and also they are also able to get the medicine that they require. They are also able to get all the health issues that they have in relation to that at that particular level. They don't have to go to the other bigger hospitals. So the healthcare system is very well taken care of. And also on issues of contraceptives, I'm a very traditional person as a mother. I don't think that the best thing to do at this time is to introduce contraceptives to our children. It may look like a good thing to do. Of course, you create awareness that there is contraceptives that you can use. But the upshot of that is at the end of the day, the child says, I'll do it, and then I'll take the contraceptive.
So you come from the premise that they have no business having sex,
Exactly.
first of all, at this age.
Exactly. Children have no business having sex. They can't even take care of themselves. They cannot even be encouraged to think about sex. That is a kind of a community we need to create. Let us go back to our traditions, because you couldn't even discuss, for example, rape or defile. You couldn't even discuss, rape or defile. You couldn't even discuss, sexual health. You couldn't even discuss issues of sex with your parent, the only
Start.
where
Can't
you
say
would
the
be,
word.
that's where we would be able to be informed by the teachers. You cannot do this. Then they used to create, social groups in
And then there goes
schools.
the argument, why do it now? Because there are those who argue, okay, so how do you sit down with your daughter and your son today and have a conversation around sex education
And then tell them not to
when your mother didn't discuss that with you?
No.
My parents never discussed that with me.
No.
I don't know about your Seto.
They did.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Gen Z.
He turned out right.
So the thing is, keep them busy,
Yes.
keep them disciplined. So I then have that conversation in the first place. And that has been the argument.
Yeah.
We cannot encourage Dennis.
Yeah.
We cannot encourage our children. Let them have the awareness
Yeah.
from some social groupings. Even clubs in schools, in primary schools, we can do social clubs that can be having conversations every Friday for the entire schools, even in their, in their assemblies.
Yeah.
On Friday, when you have the assemblies, we can have a situation whereby the principals of the primary schools, they take advantage, and through those clubs, they are able to have even 5-10 minutes and speak about sex education.
There's something
That
that
would work.
Okari raised in terms of sanitary towels as that being one of the causes as well of early teen pregnancies. But as you've also mentioned that you're partnering with those who are helping to donate that.
Yes.
But there is the other side of using reusable sanitary towels, like the menstrual cups, that would help. It's a single use. You use it and reuse it, so you don't have to worry that I'm going to spend.
Yes.
Are these areas that you're looking into investing in?
Yes.
To just make it easier so that this girl child focuses on education and not the next where I'm going to get money to buy pants.
Where we came into as a government, I have been actually in office. This would be my 3rd month. And where we have started some of these projects, the first thing that we did was to get partners. And also the partners, they come in with their initiative and proposals. And one of the proposals they had is a reusable sanitary ware. But the menstrual cup was not one of those that they were advocating for. They were advocating for us to train teachers in schools on how to do and how to sew the reusable menstrual pad, which